What's up, Virgo? This is going to be your bi-weekly love check-in. This is for my Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus, and for the cross watchers. If you guys enjoy this, do give me a like, throw me a comment, share. If you are new to the channel, on this channel I combine my tarot and channeling with universal law of assumption, consciousness and manifesting to look into your situation with your specific person, your dynamic, the person on your mind. Shift it, should you wish to, by changing your focus and your awareness. And if that is something that you're interested in, then stick with me. We're going to take a look into the person on your mind. How do they feel about you? How do you feel about them? And a projected potential. And I say that because all potentials exist. Tying in universal law of assumption, creation is finished. All possibilities exist at once through you. Your desires are meant for you. Everyone is you pushed out. So if you would like to manifest this differently, you can manifest anyone, any version of anyone. Circumstances and conditions do not matter, guys. But if you want to change this or shift this, it just requires a shift in your state of being, your identity, your state of consciousness, and a reselection through your thoughts and assumptions, beliefs pushed out. And the mirror must reflect, okay? So let's take a look. The person on your mind, 7 of Cups. Maybe they're fantasizing about you, Virgo. Wheel of Fortune. Also sort of lots of, you know, maybe some mixed feelings about, well, the Wheel of Fortune is definitely a sense of things, you know, moving in a positive direction. But, you know, King of Swords is in the reverse. So maybe there's been some issues here to do with clarity. I mean, the 7 of Cups is usually confusion. King of Swords, I mean, on the lighter side of things, King of Swords can be maybe not as expressive. So maybe there's been some issues in clarifying feelings, or some other issues to do with, okay, like confusion. So like needing to come clear, you know, be clear with one another, an expression, cutting through confusion. Let's have a look. Empress card, Virgo. Okay, we've got the Hermit card. That's you, Virgo. Oh, wow. Empress and Emperor. Beautiful. Okay, so why the Hermit card? So there's something here where it might get like, go in and out of withdrawing a little bit. Now, I'm not even saying it's someone you're separated from. Some of you are actually in like a marriage or in a commitment with one another. This is a very strong pair. It's also a divine pair. And they're a very good match. They're both in the upright. So this is a nice balance. But the Hermit card, maybe there can be a bit of withdrawal. The King of Swords in reverse, guys, also maybe sometimes there can be some harsh communication, or someone says something, the other one withdraws. So that can be a little bit of a dynamic. See, I like to just point out dynamics, and I explain to you how you can actually shift it yourself through your mind, okay? But we've got, yeah, 8 of Wands, something to do with maybe silent treatment sometimes, guys, okay? Like someone might, like I said, say one thing and the other one withdraws, okay? So you can go a little bit like that. And then 4 of Wands. I mean, so this is about house and home, commitment, stability. I'm really not getting an unstable, non-committal energy, Virgo, but it's just, you know, something to do with wanting to come out of this energy of feeling isolated. So that could be sort of a theme or a dynamic between you and this person, the communication, of feeling lonely because of the way in which you communicate with one another. Maybe that causes confusion about like the emotional component between the two of you. That's that 7 of Cups. But the Wheel of Fortune I saw is really pretty beautiful energy. And it's about shifting things for the better. So, you know, wanting to get out of maybe that cycle. The Wheel of Fortune's also cycles. So tell me about this Hermit card in the reverse. Okay, Hierophant card. I mean, these are all really high cards, major arcana. This is also, you know, marriage, traditional values, long-term commitment. So if you're exclusive with this person, this is like anyway heading towards next level. If you're married to this person, they're not going anywhere. The intention regardless is about, you know, commitments. I'm going to get one more. The Hermit card, so this withdrawal energy, maybe sometimes also you clash in terms of your values in some kind of a way. Like, I'm not talking about the direction of the connection and what you want there, but this could be maybe you have like different backgrounds, and so then maybe that causes a little bit of clashing. Like I said, that King of Swords in the reverse, and maybe there's tensions around that, for example, and that causes sort of like hot, I don't like to say hot and cold because it's a very charged term, especially in the tarot world. That's not what I'm saying, but withdrawal, reaction, that kind of a thing. Let me say a little bit more. Okay, 7 of Pentacles in the reverse, 2 of Cups. I mean, so many beautiful cards. So the 7 of Pentacles. So for some of you also, you know, this loneliness and withdrawal energy, I mean, it could be a little bit like there's a reactivity to one another. Like, are you investing as much as I'm investing into the situation? And this can even be material matters. So there could be a little bit besides. So there's strong cards here. There's a little bit of a harsh energy with the communication that causes some mixed feelings. And the 8 of Wands can be issues then communicating with one another, like one person reacts. Some of you, you know, yeah, I mean, 2 of Cups is relationship and soul connection. I want to get one more on that 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, there's that King of Swords in reverse. Exactly, right? So, and then Page of Pentacles and 9 of Cups. So this person wants, this is the wish fulfillment, okay? It could be a little bit like this harsh or erratic energy. So in terms of values and stuff, there could be this sort of heavy, and I'm not giving you shit, Virgo, there could be reactivity. So this person could feel like they're in some way kind of a little bit inadequate, like financially, or the foundations that they've built financially. And when you communicate, there's reactivity of some kind, and then it causes kind of turbulent emotions, 7 of Cups, or confusion, or like hot and cold, or pull back, or something like that. I mean, King of Swords in the reverse also can be a little bit, it's difficult for them to like emotionally communicate, and then that could cause reactivity. The emotion is there though, 2 of Cups. So I think this could go like beautiful and nice and harmonious, great pair. And then there can be just moments of like reactivity. And this person's thing could be that they feel like what they have to offer is a bit small in terms of finances, because there's a lot here to do with long-term goal and like stability. And let me say one more on that King of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, guys, you can't make up. So the 4 of Cups is like a little bit of this kind of fear of not being enough, or feeling like what they're offering, it's not really being taken. So this is where, you know, and that could just be like a misinterpretation, reactivity, communication issue, okay? So look, if you want to tweak this and get 2.0, we don't even need to like finagle and fuck around too much with this, okay? Like if you want it to be that you have the best possible communication, you guys are consistently close, share the same goal, or working together really nicely and well. I mean, regardless, in this check-in, they want to have pleasure and fun with you. So maybe that's been a bit lacking because of some of this kind of reactivity and then turbulence. You know, then you can just focus on them in that way, okay? It's usually coming down to what we focus on grows, you know what I mean? So let me have a look. I mean, if you want to see, guys, I've put a link in the description box of the video. That's from inside my course, Shifted. It's a sneak preview. It's free. And it's a Q&A where I talk about like how we have how we can change our thoughts and assumptions. So what we're giving awareness to. So in the example of like thinking someone acts hot and cold, like that's a dynamic, or shifting your assumptions with any circumstances, conditions, or versions of people. It explains to you what I'm talking about here, okay? Yeah, because there's 5 of Cups. So there seems to be spilt cups, and the spilt cups, honestly, to me, Virgo, with respect to the 2 of you, seems to be something to do with maybe some harsh words, or the way in which you've communicated, and then maybe there can be like silent treatment between the 2 of you. And that's what goes round and round a little bit. That's the Death card in the reverse, okay? Round and round. So the transformation needs to be a shifting in that way. This is a rejection wound. So I'm not blaming you and saying it's your fault because of rejection. I mean, you might feel the same if there's a little bit of this dynamic of the round and round, because maybe things are said and then regretted, and then there's withdrawal as an example, okay? Now, Death cards are transformational energy. So the intention here is to transform, okay? But Virgo, then it is. So you're still manifesting all the time. If you don't want to go back into old cycle and you want this to transform permanently, you just need to persist in holding them in their highest version as a reflection to you and what you're expecting, and the version of you have the best relationship, okay? All right, so let's look at you, Virgo. More importantly, that's a nice reading. Okay, you've got 10 of Wands. So that's like you feel sometimes weighed down. Also, that's responsibility. Some of you, you know, there's issues here like 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. Maybe financial matters. Something has not gone quite as planned on this side. And so then that causes some frustration and, you know, pullback, withdrawal. See, there's the Death card. You want transformation, Virgo. Okay. And then we've got 2 of Wands in the reverse. Sometimes you feel like this person might lack direction. It doesn't have to be for everyone, guys. I just read how I read, okay? And what comes out. And then 6 of Wands is in the reverse. So sometimes also it's like you feel like this person lacks direction, or you feel like you're not sure. Like 6 of Wands also can be about feeling celebrated, feeling successful. You're not sure if this person gives you that. For some of you, that's what you want. You want more of that. And on the flip side, I would argue that this person, if I was going to, because they're not a robot, guys, they have their own independent thoughts and feelings, but they do shift when you shift, okay? That is the magic of law of assumption and states of consciousness. So if you get into it from now, guys, those that are not familiar, you'll understand what I mean. But you could feel, on the flip side, they could feel a little bit like that. They could feel that they're not enough, and then they pull back and you feel like you don't get the attention or the validation, or sometimes maybe you doubt that they are really have a direction in terms of like the success. Because this is a lot to do with stability, house and home, marriage, finances. In their case, there's the 7 of Pentacles in the reverse. So, oh my God, guys, okay. So anyone that's joined my channel that is cynical about me or whatever, why do I do tarot? I literally just said 7 of Pentacles in the reverse, different deck, 7 of Pentacles in reverse. So maybe you doubt that they're, one, you could be carrying more burdens because you feel like financially you have to carry things and there's issues there. Or 2, you might doubt that they're equally as invested, or that they're as driven, or that, you know, they have that direction. And that's the thing that keeps going round and round. Painful cycles, 10 of Swords. This is not an end-to-end, guys. I read differently depending on the circumstances and the situation, right? But in this reading, this is not an end-end. And 10 of Swords can have different connotations. I would say here it's like you can have painful cycles, and swords can also be words. So I do think you've had some clashing between the 2 of you, but this is also a 10 card, so this would be about getting over that, okay? And what else? And it's, again, 2 of Pentacles. This is like juggling a lot of things, work-life balance, you know, financial matters, money in versus money out. 10 of Swords on a work front can be exhaustion. So that's the other thing that could be going on. Maybe some of you feel like you're working really hard, you feel like that's like a strain, and then that's causing reactivity. Some of you might feel like this person's not carrying their weight, because 10 of Wands is carrying responsibility and burden. I mean, some of you have children, because this is Emperor and Empress, and if not, this is like a pair that it can be, you know, marriage. Also, it's a really solid pair. You're both in the upright. That's how they're feeling about you. So you don't need to doubt that. We've got Page of Swords, and then we've got Queen of Wands in the reverse. Why do we have Queen of Wands in the reverse? 5 of Wands in the reverse. Okay, Virgo. So for some of you, you know, like there's clashing intention here with this 5 of Wands, and you want to get past that, okay? Virgo, I question whether or not you sometimes feel like if this person withdraws, do you question their loyalty? Or, I mean, because Queen of Wands in reverse can sometimes also be like a meddler or an outside energy, and we've got this 5 of Wands here, okay, which can be clashing intention. I mean, I'm not going to just say it to make you happy. I really wasn't necessarily picking up that there's third-party energy here. It could be that there's a bit of this kind of suspicion. Now, Virgo, you may have had cheating in your past, 10 of Swords, or pain in your past, and you might have a fear if this person goes into a withdrawal that they are not paying you the attention okay? Or Queen of Wands in the reverse. I mean, maybe there is someone like an ex or a third party around, but I wasn't even seeing anyone playing with anyone, okay? So maybe this is something to do, because Page of Swords is observation energy, all right? So that could also be the erratic stuff. Like sometimes you question if this person's giving you enough attention. And also because that can also be prioritizing the connection. That could lead to clashing and tension. So, I mean, Virgo, I would say that if you want to end this kind of cycle and stuff, then you just need to change the way how you perceive yourself. So, no, I'm a number one priority. I'm all they want. Like being confident in that. And they treat me like a diamond, and no, there's absolutely no competition in my reality or in my world. I mean, I'm going to get one more on what this Queen of Wands in the reverse is. Okay. Let's see. Lover's card in the reverse. I mean, let's have a look. An Ace of Cups, Six of Cups. You want to reconcile this issue and have the love poured back in. It seems like there's been tensions, you know, around not feeling very loved or chosen. All right, Lover's card in the reverse. So strong connection again, strong soul contract, but there's something here to do with maybe not feeling very chosen. And that might also be something from your past, like I said, Virgo. So there could be this sort of observation energy and sort of anticipating when someone pulls back, for example, that they're not really being very committed to the situation. Now, some of you, there might be like an ex in the mix or whatever, and then that causes turbulence. Two of Pentacles in the reverse. Some of you also money in versus money out if you're dealing with a situation where you're in a commitment, but then there's exes, there's financial matters. That could also piss you off or cause tension or whatever. But the Lover's card, really at the root of it on a spiritual level, is like self-love. So you feeling loved, you feeling chosen, you feeling prioritized. So to get the version that really is giving you that, you just need to identify as a version of you. Of course I'm loved, of course I'm chosen, of course they love me, right? Persist in that and you will see it reflected. So that should be the focus, the observation, the identity of that, you selecting your identity. I am the version of Virgo that is totally loved, chosen, adored, always have been. If you want to do some revision on past pain, you can absolutely do that. I've always been loved and chosen and treated like a queen or a king. Of course, there's no competition in my reality, because literally there isn't, guys. I mean, the Queen of Wands, maybe that's a work colleague. Maybe there's suspicion around that. I don't know. This Page of Swords can sometimes be observation. Okay, we have Page of Cups here. And some of you, it's an ex where there's like a child in the mix. So that could also be the thing. And that causes maybe some jealousy or some frustration. Or you feel that person interferes in some kind of way. There's burdens here, 10 of Wands. There's burdens. So releasing the burdens, releasing the pain. This is love, okay? This person feels romantically, you know, like a relationship with you. Seems they're very serious about you. So the round and round might be harsh or erratic reactions to one another. And if you want to get rid, if you're in the camp, guys, where you feel like there is some kind of a lingering third-party interference, or you sense like that, you know, you have to fight or compete in any kind of a way, guys, in any kind of a way. Like third parties can be, you're not a priority. Third parties could be an ex hanging around, not non-romantic. It could be just that feeling of it. Like you can manifest that away by just, you know, taking your attention off it. If there's an actual third party that's interfering, then you just make them a non-issue in your reality. You stop feeding it and feeding it. You change the story, okay? Or maybe you have a past with this person, now you're together, but when you came together, there was someone else and you haven't, you know, let go of that. That's another thing. And so then that's like a recurring issue. All right, Virgo, I'm just giving you that because it came through. So then you have to release that. Now you can check out the Q&A that I have linked in the description box of the video, because that's where I talk about like you need to let go of old story of self and old story of person. If you and change your assumptions, and you will get a different result. And we're shifting moment by moment by moment. And so you can have the best possible shift just by doing that. So check out the link. Gemini energy. Yeah. Let's have a look at what this person wants with you in this check-in. Okay, fear of abandonment, guys. Okay, stop the pattern. And then silent treatment. Didn't I say silent treatment? There's a pattern, round and round. So it's a bit of this push-pull, okay? Fear of abandonment. This is the Four of Cups, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. So there's something that happens, and you equally might have a bit of this. I always say it's even more about you. The fear of abandonment, if you feel like you have to compete or you've had that story, you know, you might react in a certain type of a way, and then this person reacts, and so we can easily fix this just by changing, right? But this is silent, stop the pattern, silent treatment. With what else? Okay, boundaries with self-worth and value. This says charmed or used. Okay, enable boundaries. There's some kind of an issue here with like this thing about rejection, not feeling enough. And then you mutually, with this Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, there's kind of this mutual feeling of like, okay, one feeling, okay, I'm not enough. Then the other one feeling like, you know, you're not as invested, and then that's taken very personally, okay? And then we've got self-indulgence. It's like self-worth and value. It doesn't mean literal, look, some of you might feel this person's indulgent, they're not as invested as you like them to be, just saying. But otherwise, I would say that this is more so about like self-worth and value, okay? So something here about a trigger point around not feeling very worthy and valuable, etc. And one more. Yeah, twin flames, yin, yang, and balance. Isn't that interesting? And you've got Emperor and Empress, complement, but union and duality. Maybe you clash sometimes, push, pull, whatever, you know, you want to call it. But like the self-worth and value, guys, even if it is a strong connection, like a twin flame or a soulmate, they're still your mirror. So you don't need to focus on the version of them that they have to get over their issues of feeling rejected and heal that in your connection. You just need to focus on the version of them that is already healthy and healed and is so confident. And you'd say, just as there's a version of you, because it's like you shift and then they shift with you. We've got blowing kisses, unconditional love, fairness and love, affection returned. It's kind of this assumption like, you know what, returning the affection, push-pull in that way. So you change the story for you and what you think and assume about them. The mirror is going to reflect differently, okay? Forget even what was perceived before, shifted now, and we don't need to change anything about this, okay? Take the parts you like, throw out what you don't. You're the writer of the show, and it's identity and perception first, and then how they show up. I hope that helped you, Virgo, and in essence, I hope it guided some of you. You can let me know in the comments, and either way, you can check out those links in the description box of the video if you want to go a bit deeper into what I've talked about. Either way, I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks' time. Lots of love.